This is Audible.
Penguin Random House Audio presents Scarcity Brain. Fix your craving mindset and rewire your habits to thrive with enough. This is the author, Michael Easter. Introduction. Our Scarcity Brain. Qutaiba Erbid, my fixer in Iraq, is the most full of crap person I've ever met. That's how he'd fast-talked us into a fortified police compound on the outskirts of Baghdad. We were sitting on a hardwood bench in a makeshift waiting room. Photos of terrorists and drug kingpins filled the wall behind us. Each picture showed a man standing in handcuffs with confiscated weapons and chemical compounds all splayed out in front of him. Big bags of pills, bricks of powder, AK-47s, makeshift bombs, rocket-propelled grenade launchers. Captions in Arabic listed the person, the place, the haul. A closed-circuit TV hanging in a corner displayed a live feed of the holding cells. One heavily guarded cell contained 8 of the region's most wanted and dangerous men. We were waiting to speak with Mohammed Abdullah, Baghdad's head of drug enforcement. Erbid had lured me to Iraq with a detailed itinerary. It said he'd arranged all sorts of important meetings, one of which was to ride along with Abdullah's A-team as they raided drug and terror cells. But after 4 days in Iraq, nothing had happened. When I'd arrived and paid him, Erbid admitted, the itinerary was, proposed. Yes, it was a proposal. But now, it appeared, Erbid had perhaps talked Baghdad's finest into letting this ride-along happen. They say it's okay. But we must wear flak jackets, Erbid said, pleased with himself. We now wait for the final response. As we sat, Iraqi narco detectives, plainclothes, thick mustaches, with pistols in the waistbands of their jeans, emerged from offices like coyotes, all trying to sniff out why this gangly American was sitting in their waiting room. They circled me but didn't engage. Instead, they all chatted, chain-smoked, and side-eyed me. Eventually, one stepped from an office and approached us. He began talking. Ride-alongs? He said. Who told you this can happen? No, this cannot happen. Too dangerous. How dangerous? I asked. I was shot 3 times last week, the officer said. Erbid and I tried to appear unruffled. The dealers are becoming more violent, the officer continued. Many are transporting and selling quantities of drugs large enough that the penalty is the death sentence, so they will fight to escape. Erbid and I collected ourselves, huddled, and considered this. We then explained that we accepted the risk and would stay well in the background. The officer looked me directly in the eye and held it as he methodically pointed to 3 spots on his chest. I'd be dead if I weren't wearing a vest last week, he said. Then he shrugged. But, okay, I will ask. He tiptoed to Abdullah's office, knocking lightly on the door and bowing his head as he entered. Baghdad is generally considered a good place for solo journalists to get kidnapped and sold to ISIS, whatever they're there for. I was there for the drugs. I was investigating the dramatic rise of a new, methamphetamine-like street drug called Captagon. It's hardly known in the United States, but it's wreaking havoc in the Middle East and spreading. How I ended up in Iraq, however, takes some explaining. The short answer, it was the pandemic, and I wasn't thinking rationally. But there's a longer answer. As a science journalist and professor, I'm interested in understanding human behavior. Everyone likes to focus on developing good new habits. But I want to know how we can resolve the behaviors that hurt us most. Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much gas we give good new habits. If we don't resolve our bad ones, we still have our foot on the brake. And I'd begun noticing a unique signature of the behaviors that hurt us most. We can quickly repeat them. The worst habits are things we can do over and over and over in rapid succession, eventually to our detriment. These behaviors are often fun and rewarding in the short term, but backfire in the long run. We all do stuff like this to some degree. And even if we realize that these behaviors have turned counterproductive, we find it hard to stop. Everyone knows any behavior is fine in moderation. But why do we suck so bad at moderating? Why do we keep eating when we're full? Why do we keep shopping when we own too much? Why do we keep drinking when we're already tipsy?